Can you discuss the importance of us as individuals, individual humans, to connect with our higher selves? Because there's so many people searching for that answer outside of themselves, but I found that inside is where you find the answers, and connecting to that higher self, the higher level of consciousness, is the key. But I'd love to hear your point of view.
The authority that we have can only be inside us, because what is inside us is inside every living thing on this planet and wherever there is life in the universe. The authority is in us. There is something which I call a holotropic attractor, but that's a term that we don't need to use it. But what I mean by that there is a natural tendency in us, a tropism, a natural attraction toward creating coherent higher level systems with a higher grade of consciousness or soul, if you like. And there is this push, evolutionary push and pull in the universe, which is happening all around, which is happening everywhere. And we, with our conscious mind, are capable of picking it up, of not only sort of living next to it, but absorbing it and perhaps drawing some consequences, drawing some lessons. We need to consciously further this process of realignment, of coming back to living in the womb of nature, in the lap of nature, let me say. Living in a way in which nature is and makes available for life. That's the way one can live on Earth. You know, very shortly we're going to just reminded me an hour or two ago, an invitation to the 50th anniversary of the launch of the book for the Club of Rome, which was called The Limits to Growth. 50th anniversary already.
Wow.
Well, to me, this limits of growth is not something negative. It just means that not anything goes. That's the first 50 years ago, the first time actually that humanity as a conscious species has begun to realize that not anything can be done. We cannot live any odd way that we want to, that we are part of a living system, and that living system has its own dynamic, its own limitations, but it's also its own possibilities. So it's time now, after 50 years, to come back and to reflect, how is it that we can again be part of this evolutionary trend? We are a part of it, but can we be consciously a part of it? That's what I want to say.
So what is the definition of consciousness? What is your definition of consciousness? What is it?
I don't think anybody can, but it's what we used to call soul or spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's close to what we can call consciousness. It's something of which there is only one, if that is helpful.
Okay, fair enough.
As Schrödinger said, the consciousness it doesn't exist in the plural. Consciousness is a spirit which exists in the world, which is non-material, but perhaps the material is really more or less of an illusion. Perhaps what really exists is this higher level. If this spirit is this non-material something which we can't name, because everything else that by which we would name is a result of it, sort of. But it's their consciousness is that universal awareness which makes the world more than a set of material objects vying with one another and surviving or not surviving. Something more, something deeper. That is the spirit which already Plato talked about, the life, the consciousness, the mind, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We can call it by many names, but it is something which is fundamental in the world, which is probably much more fundamental than anything physical or material. The rest could be a manifestation of this. Ultimately, what there is mind, is spirit, is consciousness.
To watch the full video, click on the link below, and don't forget to subscribe.